Chapter 31 Christmas. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Unknowingly, it was already December 25th, Christmas, and the previous practice at St. Mungo's had come to an end. Healing spells were making rapid progress, especially in the environment of St. Mungo's and Ryan's own level 4 spell learning. With the blessing, the Christmas appointment with Penelope and Kate was at 6 o'clock in the evening at Mrs. Putiff's tea house. Healed as before, that it was another pig that was supposed to be sent to the kitchen. Following Ryan's spell, the wounds visible to the naked eye receded like a tide. Ryan in the practice room nodded with satisfaction. It seems that I made the right decision. St. Mungo's is indeed a good place. After calming down, the call of time dances again in this strange country. The strong wind swirls with Ryan's unrecognizable movements. His expression is sad and joyful. The fiery red magic aura surrounds him like a flame, and disappears from the place from time to time, suddenly. Gotta show up somewhere else. Taking a deep breath of the phoenix feathers lit with the goobler fairy fire, the cold and warm feeling burned Ryan's beating heart, and the phoenix pattern on his chest shone with sacred red light. Without speaking, Ryan's voice came to mind from the house elf Jack. Jack, is my dress ready? Jack on the side, as if it was commonplace, lowered his head and replied, Master, the dress has been made. Do you go first? I'll take a shower first, just get ready. Still without speaking, Ryan interrupted. After pushing open the door of the practice room and walking through the ginza lit with goobrai fairy fire on both sides, Ryan came to the elevator, where Ryan's latest work was. Press the button for the first floor and enter the elevator. The elevator door, which is made of dark, deep and strange metal, slowly opens, and the bathroom is directly opposite it. Ignoring the flirtations of the mermaids in the magic painting, Ryan slowly sank into the bath, emptied his mind for the first time in a long time, and fell into a state of neither thinking nor thinking. Before I knew it, it was already 5 p.m. Race, Wizard, Strength, 19, Normal Human Limit is 10, Constitution, 31, the limit for ordinary people is 10, Magic Power, 26, Normal Human Limit is 10, Skills, Thinking LV4, 21%. Body Transformation LV4, 2%. Alchemy LV3, 24%. Charms LV4, 2%. Potions LV2, 21%. Transfiguration LV3, 6%. Magical Biology LV2, 55%. Gunfighting LV3, 5%. Martial Arts LV2, 26%. Investigation LV2, 49%. Phoenix Incarnation LV2, 1%. Mind Communication LV1, 44%. This time Ryan directly apparat to Hogsmeade Village, the Funya Wizard clothing store next to Central Avenue, which is also Smith's property, the Literati Quill Shop, the Post Office, Zuko's Joke Shop, the Three Broomsticks, and honey shops like the Duke, the Screaming Shack are all on this street. Ryan pushed open the door in the corner of the Funya Wizard clothing store and blended into the crowd without leaving a trace. At this time, people were coming and going in Hogsmeade. Many young wizards who lived in Hogsmeade returned to the village during the holidays. They were all filled with joy and laughter. Ryan couldn't help but smile. He was wearing a white gold-rimmed wizard's robe, and his head was covered by the hat that came with the wizard's robe. Only his exposed eyes could be seen. Slowly walked towards Mrs. Putiff's tea house. On this festival, young wizard couples in 3rd grade and above gathered in this tea house full of girlish atmosphere. The store is small and steamy, and everything is decorated with ruffles or bows. There is a green Christmas tree standing next to each small round table, and the little snowman on the table sometimes sprinkles snow-white confetti on people. Ryan nodded to the obese Mrs. Putiff, who had an appointment in advance, and sat alone in the corner that had been reserved. I took out a year with the XC snowman, but what was different from the others was that the Lockhart posing on the cover of the book had disappeared, leaving only a fluffy snowman. Watching snowmen on a snowy day, perfect match. Studying magic books. Actually there is a reason why I was disgusted by Lockhart on the cover of the book. About 15 minutes later, Ryan saw Lockhart using his mysterious XC magic to subdue the terrifying snowman. Although there were many ridiculous parts, Ryan still found some serious points, which must have been the original story. Master's operation. At this moment, a familiar magical aura approached. Ryan closed the book and raised his head. Penino and Kate, also wearing hoods, walked towards Ryan. Seeing Ryan looking up, the short figure in blue robe jumped up and waved. This must be Kate. The strange thing is that Ryan can never detect her magical aura in advance. The same goes for the footsteps. Is she too short? Peverell, who was wearing a green wizard robe on the side, picked up the black tea that had been ordered and poured a cup of tea for Kate. Kate picked up the teacup naturally, drank the tea and drank the green bean cake she picked up from the plate in one gulp. Well, it's alive. Peverell, here, this is delicious. Kate said lively. Peverell took a sip of black tea and ignored it. Ryan, you mentioned the 3 key points for healing as before last time, but I still don't understand part of it. Peverell asked with a frown. It's the mentality. You have to treat yourself as a therapist and imagine the patient's wounds in more detail, the better. Ryan held Penello's little hand and showed her the appearance of the famous wound, emphasizing that she could borrow it from the library. In the book Simple Spells for Healing Wounds, the content is not really important. What is important is the illustrations. Kate, who was standing by, puffed up her face out of boredom and ate pastries as if in revenge. After a while, she, a Ravenclaw, also joined the discussion. Penelope's views were sharp and Kate's ideas were wild and unrestrained, both of which brought Ryan a lot of gains. Different, fresh insights that are not in the books are really interesting. They exchanged their daily lives again. Kate complained about Penelope's usual stupidity from time to time, such as accidentally walking into the wrong bathroom where Myrtle lived while reading and being drenched in water. However, at this time, the small shop was almost full of couples, holding hands or kissing, flirting. They were discussing knowledge in the corner, but they looked like aliens. Ryan couldn't help but wonder why Penelope made an appointment at this place. Suddenly, the cold and warm lips were imprinted on Ryan's cheek. Ryan could but didn't want to avoid it. It's late, it's time to go back to the Christmas party. Penelope left quickly with blushing ears. Kate, who pretended to cover her eyes with her hands, also followed jokingly. Ryan stayed where he was, and the snow-white confetti was scattered on the place where Ryan had just been kissed. With a wisp of laughter, Ryan, who had already paid the bill, suddenly disappeared in the tea house. Is this a step forward? Is this the feeling of being in love? Why are you so happy? Ryan, who returned home, couldn't help but think that the magic of happiness could not stop pouring out of his body. In the training ground, the withered flowers bloomed again, and the leaves and grass returned to green. It's good to be young. Penelope, who was originally just a tool used to study the magic of love, unknowingly found a new place in Ryan's heart. Chapter 32 Killing the Spider. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, in the study, Ryan flipped through Penelope's letter. It seemed that nothing had happened in the letter. It was just a few simple magic questions in Ryan's eyes. At the end of the letter, Penelope mentioned that she did not return to Hogwarts yesterday, but went directly from the Hogsmeade station to go home for Christmas. It seems that yesterday was premeditated. Ryan nodded slightly, picking up the pen. He answered Penelope's questions from a high-level perspective and simply added holiday blessings. After writing, Ryan handed the letter to Jack and asked him to arrange for an owl to mail it. After a simple breakfast and a simple outfit, Ryan prepared to go to the Forbidden Forest of Hogwarts again, but this time he went there in person. Originally, he should have gone there to check the place yesterday, but a wonderful accident happened. However, it was no big deal. Hogwarts had been visited almost when Ryan turned into a phoenix. If you want to find a place without people in the Forbidden Forest, there are several good options. There are 3 rarely visited places in this forest located on the west side of Hogwarts Castle. First, the Centaur's territory is close to the rock wall of the back mountain. As one of the largest populations in the Forbidden Forest, no creature dares to approach their territory. They are good at hunting with bows and arrows, and even the sky has become a forbidden place for all creatures. The rock wall of the back mountain is steep, difficult to attach, and covered with moss. Except for birds like the spherical shield bird that can teleport in a small range, large creatures like the augury and the hippogriff cannot stay at all. This is a natural barrier in itself, and the centaurs can only guard the front. Second, the surrounding area of the depression of the acromanthus spider is dim even in the daytime due to the lush trees blocking the sunlight. To get here, you have to follow the direction of a large sycamore fig tree next to Hagrid's hut and walk forward. When you find that the ground seems to be tilting down, you have arrived. The acromanthus spider hides during the day and comes out at night. In addition to overbreeding, no creature, except Hagrid, dares to set foot in it, even during the day. All the trees in this wide hollow were cleared, and a misty, hemispherical spider web covered the entire hollow, covered with black, hairy spiders, each as big as a cart horse, with 8 eyes and 8 legs. Third, beside the stream in the center of the forbidden forest, there are a lot of thorn grass, yew trees, oak trees and two-eared grass. It is the gathering place of powerful magical creatures such as unicorns and thestrals who prefer vegetarianism or gentle personalities. Fourth, in the deepest and darkest place of the forbidden forest, there are werewolf groups. During the day, they catch and store food and rest at night. When the full moon is crazy, they use pre-prepared fences to surround themselves. They are the most secluded and unknown werewolf community. They do not interact with any intelligent creatures and exile themselves. Only the occasional wolf howl from the depths of the forbidden forest can know their existence. Ryan is going to the rock wall, where there are several blind spots. The centaurs cannot observe it, although it is very small, only about 1 square meter in size. But Ryan already has martial arts skills, and he can fly. This is a perfect place to practice, and he can also overlook the beautiful scenery of the forbidden forest from a high place. Shattered into pieces. Obstacles everywhere. Shattered to pieces. Thunderbolt explosion. Shadowless. Avada eats a big melon. Ryan chanted in his heart, and a series of magic beams formed by spells rushed into the sky. When he was in the mood, Ryan flashed and stayed in the air. Avada eats a big melon. A dazzling green light flashed, piercing people's eyes, and there was a chaotic sound, as if an invisible behemoth flew through the air at the same time. A spider turned over and lay on its back on the rock. There was no scar on its body, but it was undoubtedly dead. In the evening, Ryan, who had gotten rid of eating, came back to his senses with an unsatisfied mind. Ryan, who had been casting spells continuously, was still energetic. Accompanied by the fiery red magic breath, Ryan disappeared from the spot, leaving only spiders lying on their backs all over the rock wall. Jack, let's have crabs for dinner. On the other side, Ryan, who returned to the castle, straightened his collar and said to the air. Yes, young master. The house elf Jack appeared and said. After a while, Ryan, who was eating crab roe noodles, smacked his lips and couldn't help but sigh. It's so refreshing, this kind of continuous output is refreshing. Ryan also truly recognized his own power for the first time. The spiders that were Avatar could be wizards. If he was inspired, flashed, and Avatar continuously, the Ministry of Magic would be slaughtered in less than an hour. Raising his slender white fingers, Ryan couldn't help but be a little stunned. I am invincible like this. Wait until 4 years later, when school starts. Ryan asked himself. Why not? Isn't the immersive version of Harry Potter more interesting? It's just that Voldemort will never have the chance to kill any innocent life again. Really, Avada, haven't really touched level 5 yet. I can't lower my requirements just because the current wizards are weak. What kind of scenery will the level 7? Level 8? Death curse be? Master, do you want crab vinegar? Jack interrupted my thoughts in poor Chinese. No need. Ryan answered calmly. Back in the pink room, Ryan changed into pajamas and closed his eyes. Unknowingly, 3 months have passed and it is already 1988, March 23rd is Easter, followed by a 2-week vacation. If only I had so many vacations in school in my previous life, Ryan thought after receiving Kate's letter and knowing that he would have another vacation. Ryan suddenly thought of something, and wrote a wicked reply, mentioning that the school year exams will be held in June, and he suggested that he should review carefully to avoid bad results after the holidays. This is a trouble that only Kate will encounter. She is weird, always unable to concentrate, and has poor transformation skills. She could treat every professor with a normal attitude, even Snape, but she was most afraid of Professor McGonagall because of her poor transfiguration. Ryan imagined Kate's distressed look after being awakened by him, and smiled broadly, but when Ryan wakes up for a while, Kate, like Ron, will probably disapprove of it. After all, there are still 2 months until the exam, and cramming is always the nature of scumbag students, as well as that strange optimism. Well, please send this letter to Penelope instead, to stimulate her. The top academics probably pay the most attention to this. Penelope will probably discuss the study plan with me in the next letter. By then, Kate will. There's no way to escape it, After correcting the letter and finishing the last bite of the meal, Ryan straightened his body compassionately, crossed himself on his chest, and prayed for Kate, who still had to study during the holidays. Really, madam, happy, no, pitiful. Ryan changed into a plain wizard robe and went to the Forbidden Forest to practice regardless of rain or shine. Spiders, your emperor is back. Chapter 33. The end of the. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What aspects are the main factors that reflect a person's charm? Appearance, conversation, and knowledge. Appearance does not only refer to good-looking facial features. To become a sweetheart in the eyes of girls, most of them have other additional factors. Good skin, not greasy, refreshing, and well-proportioned body are also important factors in evaluating sweethearts. Conversation refers to communication skills, which can get to the point when communicating and make people feel happy. Knowledge is an important factor in the eyes of some little fans who love learning. Maybe they are just friends or reject them at the beginning, but as long as they have the opportunity to get in-depth contact, they will be difficult to get rid of. In Penelope's eyes, her boyfriend Ryan is a charming existence. Just in terms of appearance, she was attracted. He has light body hair, good skin, white as if it is glowing, non-greasy hair, clean and refreshing, facial features are perfectly matched, and his figure is slender and well-proportioned. That's right, although Penelope doesn't know, but Ryan's body transformation skills have made him almost perfect in appearance and inside, not to mention that he originally had a good foundation. Moreover, he is not like other little boys of the same age, who always deliberately bully him to attract attention and mature. Most importantly, Ryan knows a lot of unorthodox magic knowledge, which is inconsistent with mainstream views and books, but Penelope tries privately and learns magic more smoothly, although Penelope sometimes hates Ravenclaw for being too indifferent and even wants to go to Hufflepuff. The thirst for mysterious knowledge is also a side that Penelope cannot get rid of. During the time they met, Penelope felt like she had lost herself, and Ryan could always help her, both in her studies and in her life. Most importantly, he made her realize Kate, a good friend. In the previous incident of the crying boy Rocky, Penelope noticed Kate's actions at the first time and was ready to alienate herself. But Ryan's reminder made Penelope realize that Kate was doing this for herself, and later Kate made her discover the hateful red-haired informant Percy. Sometimes when I was sober, I also suspected that it might be an adult wizard who used the polyjuice potion to become a child and interact with me. But Kate went to the admission book to investigate for herself, and Ryan Smith was indeed a student of Hogwarts, but it was 4 years later, and he was in the same class as the savior Harry Potter. So this is Ryan's secret, and this is why he has been avoiding some of my questions. Penelope wondered whether she should expose Ryan and take revenge on this little liar, but with Kate's hint, she also found that she was not much better, pretending to be a little wizard from Muggle, and finding topics to chat with Ryan. What's more, Ryan can turn into a phoenix, and Penelope, who knows the magic of the phoenix, knows what kind of great magic it is, which is fascinating. Becoming a magical creature, or an incarnation in Ryan's mouth, is amazing and mysterious. Finally, on Christmas, Penelope made up her mind and gave a reply, but what's strange recently is that when Ryan turned into a phoenix to chat at night recently, although he was energetic, he still felt a little lack of energy, as if he had just had a magic duel. What letter will Ryan write to me tomorrow? Penelope thought in the dormitory. Oh no, Easter is almost here. Ah, I'm dying. I've been studying Transmigration so much lately that I haven't finished memorizing the history of magic yet. Penelope received the letter the next day and was awakened from the joy of the Easter holiday by the information Ryan mentioned accidentally in the letter. The exam will be in June. Kate. Penelope suddenly called Kate, who was tiptoeing to leave. Let's go to the lounge and find some information about the exams in previous years. It's a holiday, so make a study plan. Ah. Isn't the exam in June? I don't want it, I've planned to relax. Penelope, you can't be so cruel. Resistance is useless. After saying that, Penelope lifted Kate up like a chick. Kate seemed to understand that resistance was useless, and she drooped her little face and stopped struggling. There's one more thing. I'm going to write to Ryan and ask some questions. What if I have to take the exam? Penelope added. So, in the evening in the Ravenclaw common room, Ryan, who looked like a phoenix, was pulled over again and asked a lot of questions. Finally, Penelope added that he should pay attention to the letter. There is more in it. Ah, did I shoot myself in the foot? On the other side, Ryan, who had untied the phoenix incarnation in the practice room, opened his eyes helplessly. Penelope has become less and less concealed recently. I suspect she is greedy for my head. That the difficult 3 months of preparation finally ended. June has arrived. Although they are in different places, Ryan and Kate breathed a sigh of relief at the same time when they realized that they had left the hell of the study plan. For Kate, the exam is no longer a hell, but a paradise to get rid of Penelope. What's more, after the exam results are released in the second week of June, the final dinner will follow, and the next third week will be the time for the summer vacation, in September. I will be a second-year student at Hogwarts. How tall will I be by then? Kate quickly wrote a letter to Ryan and made an appointment with where to go in London during the summer vacation. Then she will not be called Penelope. Kate also noticed that Ryan, like herself, was suffering from Penelope's syndrome during this period, and didn't want to face her for the time being, so it was better to communicate through letters. Besides, Penelope prefers to communicate by letter. I'm such a good friend, Kate said after writing the letter. Kate's letter. Ryan took the letter from Jack. Fortunately, Penelope's family is going on a family trip recently, otherwise I would be too busy. Ryan breathed a sigh of relief. I'm so strong now. No, I still can't die. I'll go to a travel agency during the summer vacation and see the travel in the wizarding world. Ryan considered. After Ryan finished writing the letter, he gave it to Jack to arrange for an owl to deliver the letter. Horror tour. I've wanted to go for a long time, but unfortunately my father and mother have always prevented me from going. It just so happens that they have to go on a business trip during the summer vacation. Horror tour, here I come. On the other side, Kate thought excitedly after receiving the letter and checking it, so the next day, Ryan, who received the reply and confirmed the time, came to 59 Diagon Alley alone. Horror Tour is a wizard travel agency located at 59 Diagon Alley. They offer thrilling vacation trips such as renting a vampire castle in Transylvania, hiking along the zombie trail, and visiting the Bermuda Triangle. The company's external GG is not responsible for any injuries or deaths that may occur during these trips, but Ryan had previously investigated and found that no wizard had died in the so-called thrilling vacation trips. The above statement was just a gimmick, and it just happened to bring Kate along. Chapter 34 Ignotus Peverell. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This travel agency looks ordinary from the outside. It is probably designed by the same designer as Ollivander, but it is not as dilapidated as Ollivander. The golden letters on the door can still clearly see the words Horror Tour. Pushing open the door, the receptionist is on the right side of the room, sitting on a very high chair, leaning on the marble stone platform. Behind him are some photos of travel destinations, such as the deep castle with lightning, the graves that keep stretching out their rotten arms under the moonlight, and the Bermuda Triangle with turbulent waves. Seeing Ryan walk in, the receptionist stood up slowly, walked around the stone platform and came out from the back exit, and handed over something like a menu and a feather pen. Sir. Welcome to the Horror Tour. I haven't seen guests who come to the door in person for a long time. Usually they are booked by Owl. The receptionist hurriedly rang out a long string of words, please take a look first. If you don't know how to fill it out, tell me. Have you ever thought about whether I am just here to visit? Ryan said with a wooden face pretending to be serious. Well, then, who are you? The receptionist's ears turned red with embarrassment. But you are lucky, I want to travel. Ryan interrupted politely before the situation got out of control. He walked to the small round table of jujube wood and checked the menu-like thing. Hey, it's quite detailed. Departure point. There are several options. Time, travel route selection, travel method. Door keys, buses, planes, and even retro things like horse-drawn carriages. Number of people. 2 people, restaurants to dine in, food, so many choices, just try Transylvanian, that is, Romanian food. But it takes nearly a week just to travel, so long. Looking at the dazzling menu, Ryan complained in his heart. Here, from July 1st to 11th, the departure point is Godric's Hollow, take a closer look. Ryan said after filling it out. Well, okay, let me see, 2 people. 50 gold galleons, including the restaurant, a total of 100 gold galleons, you pay 60 gold galleons as a deposit first, and the remaining 40 will be settled when you come back. The receptionist said. Then I can be there at 6 p.m. on July 1st, right? Ryan took out 60 gold galleons from the bag that had cast the traceless extension spell and asked casually. You'll need this. There are muggles at the starting point of Godric's Hollow. We will pretend to be an ordinary travel agency. When we see this flag, we will come to pick you up. The receptionist counted the number and took out 2 small flags with skulls printed on them from behind the stone platform. The birthplace of the child who lived and the old house of the Potters are also there. You can get there early. Only wizards can see it there. Oh, that's good. That's why I chose this starting point. You can also take a car at the starting point of Godric's Hollow. At that time, there will be only Kate and I. We don't need to take the bus with other tourists. We can travel separately, but the fee is much more expensive. Ryan thought Godric's Hollow was named after Godric Gryffindor, the founder of Hogwarts, who was born here and left his name in history. It is also the final resting place of at least one member of the Peverell family. If Ryan guessed correctly, this can also be regarded as the ancestral land of the Smith family. After the International Statute of Secrecy was signed and implemented in 1689, Godric's Hollow became one of the villages with more wizards. Many famous wizard families have lived here. The Dumbledore family and Bathilda Bagshot have lived in this village. However, the Dumbledore family moved to Godric's Hollow after Albus Dumbledore's father Percival was imprisoned. At that time, Bathilda Bagshot was their neighbor. The cemetery here is full of the surnames of ancient wizard families, and Peverell is one of them. Because of the appearance of wizards, the chapel here has been full of ghost stories for many centuries. Ryan returned home and started writing to Kate again, and sent another small flag to her by Owl, and agreed to meet at Godric's Hollow at 11:30 tomorrow. The next day, Ryan went to the Forbidden Forest for exercise as usual in the morning. He returned to the bathroom of the castle at nearly 11 o'clock. After a simple wash, he put on a wizard robe embroidered with pockets cast with the traceless stretching spell, which was filled with daily necessities and muggle currency prepared by Jack in advance. Then he apparat early to the center of Godric's Hollow, a square, next to a building that looked like a war monument. This place is also not plotted on the map. In the eyes of muggles, it is a war monument. Ryan can apparate directly here without hesitation, and muggles will think everything is normal. It was still early, and Ryan approached a monument. It changed. It was no longer an obelisk with names engraved on it, but a statue of 3 people, a man with messy hair and glasses, a woman with long hair, beautiful and kind face, and a baby boy sitting in his mother's arms. Is this the sculpture of the Harry Potter family? Ryan followed the path of Harry and Hermione in the original book and walked towards the central church. Behind the church, there are rows of tombstones, all with the names of wizards. The outermost one was indeed the same as in the original book, with the surname Abbott, probably a relative of Hannah Abbott. The original book did not specifically mention where Dumbledore's mother and sister were buried. Ryan bent over and looked closely at the inscription on the ancient tombstone. Hard work pays off. Ryan found it, on the frozen, mossy granite. Kendra Dumbledore is engraved. And below the birth and death dates are her daughter Ariana. There is also a motto. Where the treasure is, there is the heart too. The wizarding world really does not have the habit of visiting the cemetery to mourn their ancestors. There are no tributes, flowers, and they are all alone. However, this may be because wizards have magic paintings. Aberforth has been accompanying his sister's magic paintings all day long. How could he return to this sad place? Albus Dumbledore is probably the same. I thought I would meet some wizards, but there was no one. If I could meet Albus Dumbledore face to face here in advance, it would be so interesting. On a broken, mossy stone tablet, there is a triangular mark under the almost unrecognizable name. This is the tombstone of Ignotus. Ryan bent down again to confirm it carefully. Ryan's eyes, as bright as the moon, suddenly seemed to be on fire. Ryan used the Phoenix vision. Under this tombstone, the coffin was empty. There were no remains, only a few silver items. Ryan grabbed the air with his hands, and a still glittering necklace appeared in Ryan's hand. He opened the middle expansion and saw a photo of a young wizard with black hair and black eyes. In their youth, Dumbledore and Delindwall had also investigated this place. Did they not excavate it? Or can only Ryan's Phoenix perspective discover it? This is the breath of the god of death. Is this what God looks like? Ryan sighed. Maybe it's just the offspring of God. Ryan carefully put the silver item into his pocket. A strange breath of magic came from a distance. Ryan suddenly flashed to the agreed place. It was indeed the night bus. Kate came. Chapter 35 Night Bus. You are listening at novelfull.audio. So fast, a purple three-decker bus suddenly appeared from the thin air. No, it should be said that it was a giant beast speeding on land. It rushed straight towards the church, and all the obstacles in its direction seemed to come alive, automatically jumping to the side to avoid them. Gold letters written on the car's windshield formed the words, Night Bus. It was covered in purple, and it was cast with magic to avoid muggles. Ordinary people couldn't see, hear, or touch the car and its surroundings. The car has stopped, and an elderly wizard can be seen through the windshield. He wears a pair of thick glasses and his face looks like an owl. This should be Unplan, the driver of the night bus, but a driver like him who can't look at the road doesn't know what it feels like to drive a big guy and run rampant. But Unprang, prang means crash a car in English slang. Ryan looked at this extraordinary creation with the professional eyes of an alchemist. It also had a function similar to the Book of Access. As long as a wizard in urgent need of transportation stretched out his hand holding a wand on the roadside, it would sense it. The driver will show up driving it. Amazing, really amazing. After I graduate, I will drive a car like this and travel around the world. A conductor in a purple uniform jumped out of the bus and pretended to speak loudly to the audience. Welcome aboard the night bus, emergency transport for witches or wizards in distress. Just stick out your wand and step on board, and we'll take you wherever you want to go. The name is Stan Sandpark, and I am your conductor today. Stan Shamparker. That unlucky guy who bragged and was arrested as a Death Eater. He has such a strong desire to show off. Ryan thought to himself. Sir, do you want to take a ride? Stan, who had noticed that I was also a wizard early on, saw that I was silent and continued. Ryan said nothing and pointed at the little witch behind Stan. What Stan meant was probably not as sophisticated and thick-skinned as the original. Stan scratched his head shyly. He still looked very young, about 14 or 15 years old. Since he came out to work at such a young age, he was probably educated by a family wizard who was not mentioned in the original book. Harry saw him for the first time before the start of his 3rd grade. At that time, he looked to be at most 19 years old, but it's really interesting. That long paragraph of self-introduction is there now, and it hasn't been changed since Harry was in his 3rd year of school. The attention shifted from Stan to Kate today. Stan had returned to the car and disappeared as the night bus disappeared. Kate wore a lion head hat. The furry lion vividly opened its mouth. When paired with a brown fur-textured wizard robe, it looked like a little lion walking upright. Dang dang, I look cool today. Kate was in high spirits, jumping towards Ryan. Ryan didn't say anything, took the dragon skin bag from Kate's hand, and put it into his pocket as if no one else was watching. Kate puffed up her baby face and pulled the lion's mane angrily. Kate, don't you know we are going on a trip? Ryan rubbed his eyes. Well, is something wrong? Kate replied in confusion. You dress cool, but you don't look too muggle. We will also be close to Muggle society during our trip. Ryan explained patiently. Also, why is it a lion's head? Ryan looked confused. Why can't it be a lion? Do Ravenclaws have to like eagles? Kate answered happily when she saw that her outfit attracted Ryan's curiosity. As for why I dress like this, I'm a Muggle expert. I've been to an amusement park. You still don't know why I made an appointment to meet here in advance. I want to show you the special delicacies of Godric's Hollow. The same goes for our family. Walked out from here. Kate rolled her eyes and changed the subject. Kate, the Muggle expert, then led Ryan to the reserved restaurant wearing a wizard robe similar to a puppet costume that would only be worn on Halloween. Food? I'm looking forward to it. Ryan couldn't help but reveal a mask of pain in his heart. British food? Oh my God. Kate took Ryan around a street with familiarity and walked to an ordinary small shop. The style of the shop is very non-witchcraft, like restaurants that can be seen everywhere on the streets of Britain. In addition to colorfully dressed wizards, there were also scattered muggles in the store. What was even more interesting was that there were also a few muggles wearing homemade wizard robes. They probably thought this place was just for role-playing or something. The owner of the hotel is a pot-bellied wizard who seems very easygoing. He should know Kate and greet her kindly. After finding a private room, Kate proudly showed me today's lunch, a surf and turf meal and the signature dish of lamb tripe with meatloaf and bread. Lamb tripe stuffed with meat, a traditional local delicacy, one of the delicacies brought to Scotland after the Vikings invaded Scotland, a dark dish in Ryan's eyes. The beer-belly wizard pioneered the use of a new ingredient, venison instead of lamb. In addition to the traditional onions and bacon, the meat filling also contains fresh deer offal, a little deer lungs, blood clots, deer kidneys, etc. The meat filling is also filled with an astonishing amount of dried allspice from West India, stock and not to forget roasted Scottish oats. The beer-bellied wizard claimed that this dish was only made by Kate. The meat filling had to be cooked for about 2 to 3 hours, and finally stuffed into the venison for further processing. How should I put it? It was full of the smell of spices, and the smell of meat and offal was negligible. It was delicious, but Ryan didn't like it very much. Of the color, aroma, taste, and shape, only 2 were good, aroma and taste, and Kate unexpectedly liked it. Worthy of being British, the sea and land feast was a very common dish, which was scallops, black sausages, crispy bacon and chopped chives. Each ingredient was processed separately first, and then stir-fried in a pot, a northeastern seafood stew. It took about half an hour to finish the meal. After the meal, under the enthusiastic hospitality of the beer-bellied wizard, we walked out of the small restaurant. Ryan, this venison is very good, isn't it? Kate asked for credit. Well, it is very good. Ryan replied against his will, rubbing Kate's lion head. It feels so warm to the touch. Ryan thought, I'll take you to see the delicious Chinese food one day. Kate, do you have any other plans today? Ryan asked. No, Godric's Hollow is a good place to travel. There are many ancient wizards' tombs here. Even the boy who survived, Harry Potter, was born here. Harry Potter. Let's go to the Potter's old house in the afternoon. Ryan thought. Chapter 36 Potter's Old House. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After just finishing their meal and deciding on the arrangements for the afternoon, Ryan suddenly thought of a topic that Kate was very interested in. You should know that she was one of Dumbledore's fans and almost went to Gryffindor because of Dumbledore. Kate, how well do you know Dumbledore? Kate's attention was indeed attracted and she asked, Dumbledore, what does this have to do with Dumbledore? Aren't the Dumbledore families all in the fertile plains of England? Good guy, you know all about such obscure knowledge points. Dumbledore was just born in the fertile fields. He moved here with his family after his father died in Azkaban, and I saw the tombstones of his mother and sister, Ryan explained. So Ryan took the trouble to walk back with Kate, passed by Amber's tombstone, opened the small door leading to the church, and stayed for a long time at Dumbledore's mother's tombstone. However, the trouble is that the old Potter's house is outside the village, which is some way away. Walking back, Ryan carried Kate effortlessly, and the lion's mane kept scratching Ryan's neck. I visited the Harry Potter sculpture again, heading towards the street opposite the church, which leads to the outside of the village. After walking for a while, there appeared rows of houses with a ruin in the middle, surrounded by untidy hedges and waist-deep trees of weeds. Most of the ruins still stood, completely covered in dark ivy and snow, but the right side of the top room had been blown away. Is this the former residence of the Potter family? Kate asked curiously. Yes. Ryan replied briefly, and couldn't help but worry about whether it was a mistake to come here, whether the atmosphere was wrong, bringing a girl to this place. You must know that this place is not only a scenic spot, but also a symbol of Voldemort's defeat and the arrival of peace. Kate put her hand on the door, and a wooden sign rose from the ground in front of them, emerging from the tangle of nettles and weeds like some strange, rapidly growing flower. The gold letters on the sign read, October 31st, 1981. Lily and James Potter died here. Their son Harry was the only wizard to survive the killing curse. The house, invisible to Muggles, has been preserved as a ruin as a memorial to the Potters and as a reminder of the violence that destroyed their family. Next to these neat handwritings, there are various inscriptions written by wizards who came to pay homage to the place where the boy who lived escaped death. Some simply wrote their names in everlasting ink, some carved their initials on wooden plaques, and some wrote messages. The most recent ones, gleaming with 16 years of magical graffiti, contained much the same content. Good luck to you, Harry, wherever you are. Hope you read that, Harry, we're all rooting for you. Long live Harry Potter. Ryan was also pulled by Kate and wrote a message wishing Harry Potter good luck. Really, the pleasant atmosphere at the beginning was gone. Ryan complained secretly. A cold little hand reached out from the back of his head and put it into Ryan's collar mischievously. Today, I am very happy. For the first time, I realized what sacrifices are involved in the peaceful life now. It is very meaningful. Kate said like he noticed something and comforted him. Really, I am a time traveler, the destined savior. How could I be comforted by a little girl? Although I also thought about the deliberate side effects of this skill. Ryan smiled, unconsciously. The time reached 6 o'clock, and a black carriage appeared from the mist, accompanied by the sound of jingling bells. Are you Mr. Smith and Ms. Lewingster? Welcome aboard. The first stop is the Vampire Castle in Romania. A short hook-nosed wizard in black wizard robes appeared from the side of the carriage with a smile on his face. Down the steps. The hook-nosed wizard bent down and motioned for Ryan and the two to get in the car. What the hell? Is this called pretending to be a Muggle tour group? Is there something wrong with your definition of Muggles? Ryan cursed. At the same time, Kate suddenly jumped off Ryan's back. The entire carriage was in Gothic style, and the interior of the carriage was larger than expected. The ground was covered with a blood-red carpet, and bat-like magic lamps flapped their wings in the air. This is a vampire-style 3-bedroom apartment with bathroom, entertainment room, and bedroom. Mr. Smith, Ms. Lewingster, you will spend the night dining on the carriage tonight. There is tea in the entertainment hall, and you can take whatever food you want. The hook-nosed wizard also followed, closed the door, opened the door and leaned against the entertainment room. Directly opposite the hall is a black coffin. That coffin turned out to be the driver's cab. Kate said seriously. The recreation room was filled with gobstones, wizard chess and other common games. Kate pulled Ryan up and walked to the sofa to play with the gobstones. Gobstone is a game mostly popular among wizarding children. It uses a special stone. The gameplay is similar to the Muggle Marbles game. The main difference is that when one side loses points, the stones will be directed toward the person who lost the point. A foul-smelling liquid is sprayed on the face. Ryan was speechless. That's it. Although there is a bathroom, is it cool to be cummed in the face? Don't you want to play? Romania is still far away, and there are so many exploding cards. Let's see who gets bombed first. Kate suggested. Ryan was speechless. Are these the only games in the wizarding world? Let's take a look at the scenery. Look, how beautiful it is. Ryan opened the one-way window next to the sofa, and the scenery passing by quickly left Ryan speechless. What scenery is there? I can't see anything clearly. Kate puffed up her face. Mr. Ryan, when we get to the castle, the bat lantern will play beautiful music to remind you and your friends to get off the car. The hook-nosed wizard's voice came from the coffin, easing the awkward situation. However, we will arrive tomorrow morning. You only said it now. Did you forget to say it? Ryan thought of it immediately. Ryan took the tea on the table and poured a full cup for Kate and himself. He took a pack of chocolate frogs and opened it, and took out the picture card. The picture card showed a man's face, wearing a pair of half-moon glasses, with a crooked long nose, silver hair and beard. It's Dumbledore. Ryan, you can pick him up at once. You know, I only have 3 Dumbledore cards. Kate, who was stuffed with licorice wands, exclaimed. Albus Dumbledore, current headmaster of Hogwarts, recognized as the greatest wizard of our time. Dumbledore's well-known contributions include defeating the Dark Wizard Grindelwald in 1945, discovering the 12 uses of dragon's blood, and making great achievements in alchemy with his partner Nicholas Flamel. Professor Dumbledore is fond of chamber music and 10-pin bowling. Kate read the text on the back and complained, there is only one bad thing about this picture. You know, Principal Dumbledore won the Barnabas Finkley Award for excellent spellcasting in his 7th year at Hogwarts, but he didn't have this. I even wrote a letter to remind him, but I didn't receive a single reply. Thought it was the first time Ryan saw Kate like this. Chapter 37 The Magic of Gestures. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Spellcasting technique? You mentioned this? Ryan was a little curious and looked at Kate, who was shaking the lion's head. This award is named after Barnabas Finkley, the master of gesture magic, and is awarded to those who have excellent spell-casting skills. Kate said proudly when she saw that Ryan didn't know. Gestures? It's just another interpretation of the spell, an unnecessary product to reduce the difficulty of casting spells. This award is actually of little value from a magic point of view. No wonder the manufacturer of the chocolate frog did not add this honor. Ryan used his mind communication skills to Kate said, after all, magical knowledge cannot be heard by the driver. Mr. Ryan, why do you say that? There are many famous wizards who claim that gestures can enhance the power of spells. Kate replied in her heart habitually, blinking her big curious eyes, ah, so cute. From Ryan's perspective, Kate is like the schoolgirl who called Ryan Sensen in the Japanese Good Boy movie in her previous life. Yeah, let Lensen teach you. Len said with a righteous face. Dense. Teacher, don't worry about those details. 5 points from Ravenclaw. Do you know about speech? Ryan asked. What does speech have to do with gestures? Kate looked confused. There has been research in this area in the Muggle world for a long time. Have you noticed that some speakers always dance when they talk about being happy? Why is that? Make people more convincing. Increase confidence. Kate guessed. Yes, it is to increase self-confidence. The height of the fountain will not exceed its source. The power of the spell also depends on a wizard's self-confidence. Just like silent spellcasting, as long as you have firm belief, you can successfully cast a spell even if you don't recite the spell. This is a superb skill that is only taught in the 6th grade at Hogwarts. Ryan paused and continued to communicate with his mind. The same goes for gestures. Do you know Wakatu? Wakatu, I know. The coolest magic school. Do you know how they recruit students? It's through dreams. The dreamer will leave a token when the little wizard sleeps, usually a piece of paper with words engraved on it. Little sure too. As far as I know, no other school recruits students in this way. Kate was so excited that she forgot to communicate with her thoughts, and a long sentence couldn't stop coming out of her mouth. Then do you know their characteristics? Ryan asked. I've known these issues since I was 7 years old, Kate replied. Ryan couldn't help but be surprised. Why did he emphasize the age of 7? Kate confidently introduced, Wakatu is an ancient school with at least 1,000 years of history. It is the largest of all wizard schools and recruits students from every corner of this huge land in Africa. It is the only magic school that does not hide its location. The address is the Mountain of the Moon, which is a breathtaking stone building on the mountainside, hidden in the mist, sometimes as if it is floating. Kate continued with such an eloquent sermon, few wizards at Hogwarts would be willing to listen to the story of an African magic school. Also, their students are very cool. Many of their spells only require a finger or a gesture. Just wave your hand and you can make a person's jaw drop. They are also good at self-transformation. Unlike animagus, they are both common animals in Africa. A little wizard around the age of 14 can transform into an elephant or a cheetah at will. Kate continued with fascination. Stop it, Kate, you just talked about gestures, right, gestures. Why do the wizards in Wakatu only need gestures? It's because hands are a kind of spell. Ryan paused, and the modern magic in our British area it's not useless. Stability, the triangle is always the most stable structure. Gestures, spells, and emotions make the little wizard no longer have any risk of casting spells. It is more powerful than gestures alone. Modern magic that requires 3 elements at the same time is much more powerful than African magic that only uses gestures. Otherwise why, Wakatu's battle mainly relies on self-transformation. Ryan used the thought emphasized in Kate's heart. You know, the mysterious man also traveled. In order to achieve a breakthrough in magic, if hand gesture magic is really strong, why is it still dominated by modern magic? The reason why many famous wizards claim that gestures can enhance the power of spells is because the gestures enhance their self-confidence, or they happen to be close to and consistent with the gestures of some powerful ancient wizards, triggering some indescribable power. That's not what you should know now, Kate. Ryan was about to stop talking about this. Going a step further will involve dangerous areas. Without a system, modern magic would be enough for a wizard to study for a lifetime. Knowing too much is sometimes not a good thing. For example, Luna's mother died due to magic experiments in the original novel. What's even weirder is that Luna even kept the horn of a poison horn in her home, which was collected as the horn of an imaginary snorkel. You know, the poisonous horned beast's horn will explode with just the slightest touch. Seeing that Ryan stopped the topic, Kate was a little dissatisfied, but when she thought of discussing her favorite school with the little devil she had a crush on, her dissatisfaction disappeared immediately. Ryan, the first stop today is the vampire castle. I'm very curious about what vampires are like. Kate thought about vampires again. Vampire? Kate, this is something only taught in the Defense Against the Dark Arts class in 3rd grade, along with werewolves. Ryan joked. Okay, Ryan's class is open again. Vampires, to be precise, should be called living dead who attack people for blood. Magic classification level, XXX. Vampires are widely found all over the world. They are monsters that can turn into bats and fly around. They reveal their true form in front of sleeping people and bite open their necks with their teeth to suck blood. Not only that, after the person whose blood is sucked dies due to weakness, they will become vampires and regenerate and suck blood everywhere. They mostly attack family members and other close people. If you dig up the graves of vampires, you will see that the bodies inside are as fresh, soft, and with some bright red skin as living people. You can use crosses and garlic to defeat vampires. Some people also believe that if you use the blood in the vampire's body and wheat flour to make bread, you will not be attacked by vampires after eating it. Of course, this is definitely nonsense. The most effective way to eliminate vampires is to dig up the grave, pierce his heart and chop off his head. If you are more cautious, you can burn the body to ashes, which is foolproof. Ryan concluded. If you read Elder Werpol's Blood Brothers, My Life Among Vampires, you will probably know more about this creature. As a popular science book, it's pretty good. Chapter 38 The Secret of Vampires. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As for Lockhart's traveling with a vampire, although it is more interesting, just read it as a novel. Lockhart claimed that making a vampire eat only lettuce is really a joke. Ryan suddenly remembered this, prompted. Elder Walpole, who is he? Kate asked. A ruthless man who risked his life in order to write a book personally went to live in vampire society for a period of time as a muggle. Ryan said with a hint of admiration. And he is also a member of the famous Slug Club. He has been visiting Dumbledore recently, hoping to get permission to visit Harry Potter and write a Harry Potter biography. Okay, do vampires only suck blood? Kate suddenly thought with half a chocolate frog in her mouth. Vampires can actually eat a lot of food. Blood sucking is actually not necessary. The act of sucking blood is more like a curse. Kate, can you believe it? Vampires can even eat garlic, but they hate garlic and will actively keep away from it. So this is rarely known. By the way, in Honeydukes, there is a bloody lollipop, which is very popular among vampires. It can still be like this. Kate exclaimed. Time flew by so fast, it was as if Kate and I were hiding in a gap in time. Unconsciously, 2 hours passed. At 8 o'clock in the evening, soft music sounded from the mouth of the bat lamp, the table in the entertainment room split in the middle, and a small black coffin emerged from the middle, squeaking. Red soup gushes out from the cracks in the coffin. The coffin is slowly opened, revealing red beef stew, and some bread is placed around it. How should I put it? This dish now gives Ryan the feeling of stewing a goose in an iron pot, and the surrounding bread is like a pastry on the edge of the pot. Mr. Lane, good evening. After you have your meal, press the bell on your left hand and the table will return to normal. The hook-nosed wizard's voice suddenly sounded. This red beef stew tastes like beef brisket stewed with tomatoes. The only difference is that it adds some Romanian specialty spices and the milky flavor brought by some butter. Kate frowned. The sudden dinner made her regret that she shouldn't have eaten so many snacks before. Unlike Kate, Ryan, who had known about dinner plans, simply ate a few chocolate frogs. After the bad taste was over, Ryan suddenly put his hand on Kate's furry belly. What are you doing? Be careful, I tell Penello. Kate's face turned red, but after a while, she understood Ryan's intention. The feeling of fullness recedes like a tide, and the feeling of hunger keeps coming. Ryan, how did you do that? Kate asked. This is a secret, come on, eat. Ryan said with a mysterious face. This brat. Kate cursed, but after a while she started to enjoy the food. After the meal, Ryan took out a guide to medieval witchcraft and read it with Kate, discussing some trivial magic from time to time. At 11 o'clock in the evening, the light of the bat lamp became dim. Kate stood up, stretched, and walked to the bathroom to prepare to wash up before going to bed. Ryan is still very energetic. With a physical constitution of 31, Ryan can already rest without rest. The only thing that is tired is something intangible like the heart. Staying at your peak mentally and physically for a long time is just a piece of cake. However, the source of magic in this world comes from the heart. Ryan still deliberately maintains some mortal habits, such as eating, grooming, and resting. Ryan took out his own toiletries from his pocket and walked towards the bathroom. He washed his face and rinsed his mouth briefly. Instead of waiting for Kate to take a bath in the bathroom, Ryan changed out of his wizard robe, put on pajamas with an Australian opal eye dragon printed on them, and walked to the bedroom. The bedroom is also in a coffin style, with a silk bed as bright as blood. This is a coffin that can accommodate at least 4 or 5 people. Ryan touched the coffin, which was the bed, with his hand, and a wandless cleansing came over him. Leaning on the pillow, Ryan read the Daily Prophet again. He had no choice but to say that there was no entertainment in the wizarding world that interested Ryan. There is no Wi-Fi or network. Although there is wonderful magic that makes people feel like they are entering the virtual online game panel, Ryan still feels bored occasionally. These carriage decorations may look interesting to people in the wizarding world, but after all, Ryan comes from the era of information explosion in the 21st century, and these are just a bit new. Sometimes, Ryan even has the urge to play games and network in the magical world. But apart from studying magic, in other aspects, Ryan is just a salty fish and does not have such strong mobility. If he had really strong mobility, Ryan would have become famous in his previous life, and he would most likely still be a salty fish after traveling through time. After a while, Kate took out a change of clothes and a fluffy nightgown from the bag she brought. Kate walked in slowly, holding a giant lion stuffed animal. "Don't worry, it's just a 7-year-old kid here." Kate encouraged herself in her heart. Kate, do you like furry things so much?" Ryan couldn't help but complain after seeing Kate's outfit and puppets. "What's wrong? It feels very comfortable to touch." Ryan's complaint made Kate forget her worries. She lay on the other side of the coffin and took out a copy of The Great Wizard of the 20th Century from the lion doll and imitated Ryan. Looked up. In the following time, there was no communication, only the sound of turning pages. Ryan didn't know why the atmosphere was particularly calm. Looking to the other side, Kate lay on the book, used it as a pillow, and fell asleep. Ryan stretched his body, lay down in a strange posture, closed his eyes, and the magic power continued to evolve. The substantial vitality, surging around Ryan's body. This is the call of the times, the meditation version of the body transformation skill, the static exercise, and the use of another skill developed by Ryan in order to exercise while sleeping. Romania is a country located in southeastern Europe, with Bucharest as its capital. Its borders are Hungary and Serbia in the west, Bulgaria in the south, and Ukraine and Moldova in the north and northeast, and Ryan and Kate went to the castle in Bucharest, the capital of Romania. It uses magic commonly used by wizards. Muggles will think of urgent matters when they approach, and they can't see the castle, which brings great convenience to wizards' travel. The castle in Bucharest is also a tourist attraction that can only be visited as part of a horror tour if you pay extra. It is full of interesting traps and fixed vampire actors. Even behind this castle is the natural habitat of the Romanian longhorn dragon, the largest and most important dragon reserve in the world. Standing on the top of the castle, overlooking this natural habitat and admiring the Romanian longhorn dragon with black and green scales and 2 shiny golden horns, hunting and playing is also a common thing for wizards who come to travel. Chapter 39 Uncontrollable Instinct. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, a soft music sounded, and Ryan woke up from his meditation. Ryan suddenly found that he had been floating in the air without realizing it. After stretching his body and exhaling a breath of turbid air, a curious look came from Ryan's right side. "What kind of magic is this, Ryan? Why are you sleeping while floating?" Kate blinked her misty eyes. "This is instinct." Ryan didn't say much. Indeed, this is instinct. Magical creatures like phoenixes do not rely on wings to fly. They are born to get rid of all constraints, including gravity. They are born to be the monarchs of the sky and immortal gods. "Huh! Ryan, you are so clean!" Kate exclaimed. No matter how beautiful and perfect a person is, they will have oily and bad breath after waking up, but Ryan is so clean that he seems to be glowing. The cleanliness at first glance even makes the eyes that look at him become refreshed, like the first sight of natural scenery after living in a big city for a long time, soft, as if merging with everything. "Kate, this is also instinct." The fiery red magic ignited, and Ryan, who changed into a fiery red new dress, turned his head. How could an immortal creature be stained by the mortal world? Keeping clean at all times and places is just instinct. Ryan, who had just woken up, had not yet had time to restrain his own strangeness. The charm of magic filled every inch of Ryan's skin and every hair at this time. As a short-lived species, the involuntary desire for immortal life firmly trapped Kate's eyes. The closer to magic, the more powerful wizards can see more beauty. Kate, a wizard and a short-lived species, should also be different at this time. In just a moment, the powerful wizard intuition brought by the investigation and the magic of thinking made Ryan understand everything at this time. When at home, the eyes of the house elf Jack have always been fanatical and sincere, and Ryan would not notice his own specialness. The increasingly powerful, extraordinary, and perfect body made Ryan's thinking more adapted to the perspective of the gods, especially after trying to obtain the LV6 death curse, which came first, the phoenix or the fire. The correct answer to this Ravenclaw door knocker question is to repeat it in a cycle, without any order. After possessing the phoenix ability, Ryan found that this answer was not accurate. The phoenix, like the ghost Peeves, is a gathering of the yearning for eternal life, and a population formed after the polishing of time. Moreover, Ryan also found that after he did not break free from the wizard group thought by turning 17 normally, but bypassed this invisible curse through the phoenix ability, he became less and less like a mortal. Some of the spell-like abilities in the novels began to solidify in the body. These abilities have nothing to do with the ability of body transformation. Using magic power to replace diet, sleep, and even keep the rhythm of breathing with the world, now Ryan has discovered that when meditating, in ancient times, the uncontrollable magic charm of the phoenix when it was first born also began to radiate, which is a feature only possessed by the first generation of phoenixes. Adjusting his thinking mode, Ryan changed from the mentality of an immortal god to that of a mortal Ryan. Just like waking up from a dream, Kate shook her head, as if she thought she was just being infatuated, and pretended to be indifferent while suppressing her shame. "Well, Ryan, it seems that we have arrived at the destination." Kate changed the subject. "Okay, I'll wait for you outside." Ryan also went downhill. After all, Ryan was still not going to tell Kate some secrets. Ryan also understood some characteristics of Ravenclaw. If the relationship is not in place, don't give others the opportunity to betray you. Ravenclaw always compares their grades. In terms of academic achievements, Ravenclaw also has considerable desire. Rita Skeeter and Lockhart are also Ravenclaws. They will frame others in despicable ways in order to get higher scores, and the same is true for other students. In the original book, Hufflepuff's prefect Gabriel Truman once pointed out that Ravenclaws are very proud of the fact that their house has produced celebrities, such as Laverne de Montmorency, and they claim that all outstanding people come from their house, such as Bridget Wenlock. In fact, Wenlock is from Hufflepuff. All people with Ravenclaw traits also have bad sides, such as Hermione and Ryan himself. In the last part, the Battle of Hogwarts, Ravenclaw is the least left except Slytherin, and Hufflepuff, who was secretly looked down upon by the other three houses, Hannah Abbott from Hufflepuff and Seamus Finnegan from Gryffindor, who were born in Hufflepuff, rushed directly to the hall under the protection of Harry's shield charm after being almost hit by Voldemort, and joined the fierce battle without hesitation. As a Gryffindor, Seamus Finnegan naturally has no lack of courage, although Hannah may be out of hatred. After all, her mother was attacked and killed by the Death Eaters, but between life and death, they still choose to join the battlefield. Ordinary Hufflepuffs can also show surprising courage. Too much wisdom often makes people judge the situation and lose the most precious things in human nature. Ryan knows that he is such a person. He exhaled lightly and walked out of the complicated thoughts. The hook-nosed wizard was already waiting in the entertainment hall. After a few simple exchanges, the hook-nosed wizard respectfully handed over a brochure, which wrote about the place to eat and rest, and even the trap layout that was not recommended to watch, and the start time of the next journey. The hook-nosed wizard disappeared in the original place with a quick apparition. In this castle, it was just Kate and I. This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. No, it's not rigorous enough. The most important vampire actor can also be considered half a person. Ryan thought. About 10 minutes later, Kate, who changed into a hunter's costume, walked out of the bathroom. "Kate, here, this is the schedule for today." Ryan handed over the manual. "It's still early. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. There will be breakfast in the castle's auditorium. After 9 o'clock, ring the prepared bronze bell, and the vampires will attack and start attacking us." Ryan saw that Kate was very excited and didn't look like reading the manual at all, so he introduced helplessly. "What are we waiting for? Let's go. Vampire Hunter Kate is here." Kate was eager to try. Pushing open the door of the carriage, the escalator emerged from the ground, and what came into view was an ancient castle with dark clouds and lightning above its head. Well, it has that flavor, it's really interesting, vampires and castles. Ryan followed Kate, who was running around like a deer, and commented on the decoration of the castle. This is a weather spell, I wonder why vampires come out during the day. Kate guessed. Yes, it's a weather spell, but it's not accurate enough. Ryan reminded. Why is it not accurate enough? This is an ancient magic, the predecessor of the weather spell. If it is really a weather spell, at least 10 advanced wizards must cast a spell on this castle together to ensure that the lightning above is just a decoration, not hitting our heads. The ancient magic master Ryan appeared, and 10 advanced wizards. It's too expensive and difficult to gather them all at once. The weather spell is not a very difficult spell. You can learn it in the 5th grade. Kate was puzzled. Only when you have a deep understanding of magic can you change its effect, such as this weather spell that does not thunder. This ancient magic was developed by a wizard with vampire blood. When they came to the gate, Kate pushed it open like a muggle. There was no magic mechanism that could open the door automatically, but Kate was very excited and said that this was authentic. I understand. In the magic world, you don't need magic, which is authentic. After the door was opened, there was a long dim corridor with torches on both sides, and the sound of bat wings flapping could be heard from time to time. After walking for about a minute, they arrived at the auditorium, which was filled with a rich breakfast full of Romanian style. Kate liked it very much, but Ryan was very distracted and thought he had come to China. It was a block made of cornmeal that looked like steamed cakes, corn porridge with milk, nuts and fried eggs, and the fried eggs were still runny, but at least there was a very oriental breakfast. Isn't it time to eat something different when traveling? Made from sheep's milk, telemea is a Romanian cheese that is semi-soft, crumbly and slightly salty. Irregularly shaped donuts flavored with vanilla extract and grated lemon and orange zest finally gave Ryan a different feel. Chapter 40 Vampire Hunter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ah, how come it's not authentic at all? Kate, who had eaten and drunk enough, began to curse. The breakfast disappeared magically, and the hall was also decorated in a magical way. It was not at all gloomy and scary in vampire novels. There were no spider webs, mice, or bats. Only the lightning flashing from time to time was a little bit of a feeling. Kate, this is where we eat, and it is also the safe zone mentioned in the manual. You haven't read the manual yet, have you? Ryan said speechlessly. I am a professional vampire hunter who has read no less than 10 vampire novels. What manual? Is there any need to read it? Kate said with her hands on her waist and her face flat and flat. Wait, you don't think we will go to fight vampires with wands in a while, do you? Ryan looked at Kate with a look of looking at a fool. Isn't it? Kate replied guiltily. Vampires are just XXX creatures. Any capable wizard, that is, wizard with a wand and some spells, can deal with them. If a wand is used, this vampire actor will probably be defeated as soon as he appears. Unless there are multiple vampires, it will cause some threat. Ah, you can't use spells. My front teeth are like clubs and my ear wrinkle spell is ready. Kate lowered her head dejectedly. Fortunately, you can't use a wand, otherwise I feel sad for the vampire employees. Classmate Kate, there are more exciting things. Ryan turned the manual to a page, which was full of various silverware, garlic, crosses, wooden nails and other equipment for hunting vampires. Wow! Kate's eyes lit up. Where? Take me there. It's in the passage on your left hand. These weapons are all magic. When the time comes, you just chop the vampire hard. It won't really hurt him. Ryan explained. Go, vampire, ghost hunter, Sir Kate is here. I am Salvatore Stefan, a hard-working vampire, no, a vampire, unlike his fellow vampires who only know how to hang out in the vampire protection area. He wants to be a star in the wizarding world like his idol, Shuani. After hard work, relying on his not-so-handsome face, he defeated more than a dozen fellow vampires and applied to become an employee of the famous horror tour. He can even live in a wide and deep castle like some rich grandfathers in the vampires, and can also roleplay and hunt. Wizards who play muggles. It's really an excellent job. He has no wizard friends, so he can't be written into a book by his friend, Elder Wurple, a literary master, like Shuani, and become famous. Salvatore can only write himself into the novel, using each roleplay as material, hoping that one day he can really live in his own castle, buy a lot of bloody lollipops, and even one day, like some wealthy American compatriots, open a hospital. Unexpectedly, my writing is pretty good. Some readers wrote to me to praise how I wrote so vividly. A reader who called himself a ghost hunter, Sir Kate, was particularly enthusiastic. He kept asking for methods and tips for hunting vampires. Salvatore wanted to refuse, but when he thought that the person on the other side was a wizard, he could easily subdue the vampire without the so-called tips. In addition, he was a loyal fan of his. This was a small request, and there was already a part of it in the book. Salvatore specially wrote back to inform me of his summary and some tips. First, flames or sunlight. Although these things are not like in Muggle novels, where the vampires will turn into ashes when they come into contact with them, they are not much better. This will make the vampires hot and soft. Second, silver. Weapons made of pure silver can inhibit the healing of blood and flesh of vampires. Although you can chop off the head with an iron sword and stick it in the heart without pulling it out, it is not as effective as silver. Some excellent vampires who have been trained can endure the pain and not faint, and pull out the iron sword by themselves, or reinstall the head. However, even the most powerful vampires cannot pull out silver by themselves, and it is difficult to heal the cut wound. Third, garlic. Most vampires can only eat a small bite of garlic cloves after training, but if you have a lot of garlic, congratulations, no vampire dares to turn into a bat and approach you, otherwise they will turn into their original form and faint on the ground. As for the others, most of them are compiled from Muggle novels. For example, sprinkle a handful of rice, sand, seeds and other things at vampires. Vampires are obsessed with counting. If you throw these things at them, they will distract their attention and make them unable to help but start counting, so that you have enough time to escape or kill, or bells, dog whistles, and the like. Vampires can't stand constant noise. This is also false. If you are a Muggle, it is equivalent to reminding vampires that it's time to eat and there are living things here. There are also knotted ropes or tangled nets. Vampires will be attracted by them and want to untie them. However, if the net is strong enough and the mesh is so small that vampires can't turn into bats and get out, then it may be useful. The most ridiculous thing is to wear a cross or recite the Bible. This is the most outrageous rumor. After his book became popular, Salvatore also thought about leaving his job, but after leaving this job, where would he get inspiration, and he couldn't guarantee that every book would be popular. Today is another day for tourists to come and play. At the reminder of the hook-nosed wizard colleague, this time they are rich, different from the group tour before. The guests this time can use the weapons arsenal. Although these weapons are enchanted, it still hurts to cut them. And there are few people this time, so the mode of play is closer to Salvatore's own initiative. This chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading. But it doesn't matter. Most wizards are indistinguishable from each other. They don't know how to use Muggle weapons to deal with vampires. They can't be real vampire hunters who come here to travel. Well, it seems that there are two little wizards. My next book has been settled. It's called Home Alone, Vampire Attack. Salvatore said confidently. On the other side, Ryan stared at Kate in front of him in amazement. For a weak creature like a vampire, Ryan thinks it's just an ordinary creature that can be dealt with by a blazing flame. Even if he doesn't have a wand and picks up a sword, it's just a sword for Ryan, but Kate in front of me, how can I say it, is really professional. As soon as she arrived at the armory, she chose torches and a dense net made of silver. The reasons for her choice were also very reasonable. She discarded the iron axe and armor that looked very powerful, and instead hung a garlic necklace. Compared to vampires, our wizard's physique is not weaker than theirs, but they are slightly lacking in strength and speed. Also, they are born to be able to turn into bats like Animagus. Silverware is the most common weakness of vampires. Once they see silverware, they will turn into bats and hide in the group of bats. In this case, the net is more useful than the sword. Kate said seriously. She didn't know much about vampires, but for her who had read more than a dozen vampire novels, how to use Muggle weapons to hunt vampires was undoubtedly professional. Even if the vampire can overcome his fear and face the silver, he will definitely not dare to get close to us for a long time with the torches and garlic. This net can also be used as a stick. And the torch can also illuminate the surroundings to avoid sneak attacks. Ryan, take the iron shield and silver sword to prevent him from getting close. Don't forget the garlic necklace. Kate gestured. One more thing, we stand in a diagonal line so that we can support each other at any time. While looking straight ahead, we always look at each other with our peripheral vision. Vampire Hunter Team, let's go.